When it comes to any reader, there are books you always love, there are books that you may not love so much, but then there's a choice few you just wish you never read. And today, we're gonna go over some of ours.
As always though, our opinions are our opinions. We're not always gonna agree on everything, but that's okay. We're all still besties and no hate to the author ever.
Before I get into my first one, I would like to reiterate, just because I didn't like the book doesn't mean it was a bad book. I just didn't vibe with it, and that's okay. That being said, first book I have on my list is Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. I remember hearing so much about it on the internet, and I remember people actually talking bad about the dark romance genre as a whole because of this book. And as a dark romance reader, I was a little bit offended, and I was like, in spite of all that, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna read it just to, you know, kind of off balance all the haters. But then I read it and I understood why it was getting so much hate. In this book, we have foster siblings, so it is a forbidden romance. Something ends up happening, he goes to jail, and then when he comes out, he like kind of wants revenge. I do truly think this book had potential. I think it could have been so good. The first half of the book I actually really enjoyed. I think if they continued on with that type of plot throughout the whole story and had like the possessiveness that grew and like the angst and the longing, it would have been a great book. Instead, they decided to have like a bit of a time jump, and I mean everything after the time jump was just an absolute mess. This man that we had just gotten to know the whole first half of the book comes back psychotic, like absolutely psychotic. Who is this? It just seems like a completely different character than the one that we were reading about. It felt like, to me, the author was like, what crazy, insane, dark, smutty things can we throw into this, like, to get people talking, is what it felt like. Personally, this is a book that I wish I never picked up and read. I don't think it's a good one to like represent the dark romance genre. I know some people liked it. There's a second book. I will not be picking that up.
The first one I have is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This was unfortunately the first book that I've read by Grady Hendrix. I do see myself reading something different from him because I know he is a very loved author. This one just was not it. I think also my expectations were very high because I know he is a very loved author. And this one, our main character's parents pass away, so she has to sell her childhood home, and her mom had like this obsession with puppets and dolls. Sounds good, sounds scary. It was just a little bit silly. Like the doll aspect was kind of like Chucky, and I wanted it to be like Annabelle. Like, I don't know. It just didn't hit the way that I wanted it to. I remember I wanted to DNF this one so bad, but I just stuck around in hopes that things would get better, and it just never really did for me. The story just kept dragging on, and it felt a little bit repetitive. It just wasn't a good first impression. I know a lot of people did like it though, so love that. But I am willing to read something else from him.
Next book I have is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This was getting so much love. I thought it was gonna be life-altering, yet upon reading, I just truly couldn't wrap my mind around why this was getting so much hype. Plot-wise, we do have two people who got kidnapped. I believe it was a girl and her sister's fiance. They didn't really get along. They get kidnapped. They get put into like this madman's basement and are trapped there together. The concept is interesting enough. I just did not enjoy the execution of it. I didn't like anything that was revealed that happened in their past. I didn't like anything that was happening in the future. The whole basement scenario I just felt like was kind of forced. It didn't feel believable. I don't know. And for lack of a better term, to me, it kind of felt like trauma porn. I don't think a lot of people agree with that though. I know a lot of people really loved this book. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I think with all of the themes in this book, it could have been so powerful and deep, and it just wasn't. This one just kind of gave me like an icky feeling. I don't know. If you did like this book though, I'm so happy that you loved it. It just was not the book for me personally.
My next one is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. This is a YA romance. I typically love YA books. I think this one in particular was just very young and silly. So we're following a girl who has been chatting online with this boy, and then she ends up moving to his small town without telling him. And there in that small town, she meets a guy that she really likes. Who is this that guy will never know. It just seemed a little bit silly to me. But then again, it is YA. It's supposed to be written young. I think this one in particular was just a little bit too young for me, and I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more had I read it if I was a lot younger. I just was expecting a lot though, because like every single summer, this book is always highly loved and always talked about. So I was just expecting a lot from it, but it kind of just felt like a waste of time for me.
The next book I have is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. And I know this is essentially a modern classic. Like, this is so influential in literature and like culturally and all of that, but I just found it so disturbing. I truly wish that like I just didn't read this book. It was a super hard read for me. I could have went on living my life without reading this and I would have been content. I think a huge factor was that I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I picked this up. For some reason, I had a different idea of what this was gonna be. I was completely wrong. Had I known what it was going to entail, I do think I would have stayed away from it, but I did read it, and now I know I probably will never be able to watch the adaptation. I do understand why it's so important. I just wish I never read it.
Another one I have is The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. A while ago, we both decided to read a Megan Miranda book. I think we both didn't love them. I just wish I never read this one. So a group of people 10 years ago survived this horrible tragedy, and now they're back together to honor the past and honor all of the people who didn't make it. And so all of these crazy secrets start coming to light. The problem here, I think, is we're following so many different people, and the reader was the only person who didn't know this secret that like all of these characters knew, and that drove me crazy. Because why am I the only one who doesn't know this big secret and everybody else does? I didn't like that. I think it was just too much of a slow burn mystery for me as well. This was just one of those where I was just ready for it to be done. 3 times speed the audiobook, let's move past it. And I honestly don't even remember the twist that happened. This kind of just left my brain as soon as I was done with it. So I wish I never read this one. Another one we have is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This is one of those, every time fall comes around, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you have to read this book. It embodies fall. You guys, it's not even in fall. Like, it takes place in summer, and that really bothered me when we read it last year. I think this was another Literal Besties Book Club book. I remember just 3 times speed, let's get it done with, because I just wasn't into it. The amount of spice too. So it not taking place in fall and it being such a spicy book, it was just a little bit too much for me. Lauren didn't even finish it. She DNF'd it. So.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I did read of it, but I know that this like series gets very popular around the holiday season. So maybe we'll try a different one by this author. This one just wasn't what we needed during that time. We wanted a super cozy, fun fall romance book, and it just wasn't that.
But it is heavily loved around the fall time. It is such a cute cover, and the fact that the author's name sounds like Lorelai Gilmore is everything and more.
The next one I have, you probably saw coming because I did just recently talk about it, but it is The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. I was so excited to read this book this summer because I thought it was going to be like a perfect summer romance read. We're following 2 teenagers who fall in love, spend the summer together. Something ends up happening at the end of the summer and they have a falling out. We then fast forward, I believe, like a decade later, and both of them are running against each other for governor. So I was assuming, you know, we're gonna have a lot of banter, a lot of like built up tension over the years, and they're gonna have to like be face to face again and navigate the relationship. It wasn't really like that at all. It ended up, to me, feeling like political propaganda, and I should have seen that coming a little bit, I guess, because they were running against each other, so obviously they have opposing views, but I don't think I was expecting that to play such a huge part in the plot and storyline itself. The man gave me the ick. I wasn't rooting for the romance at all. When the big reveal happened of what happened all those years ago, I got even more of an ick. I don't know, it was just super disappointing. I should have DNF'd it. it. It didn't get better by the end of it. This one was just like a disappointing read for me, and I wish I never picked it up.
Another one I have is Sandwich by Catherine Newman. This is actually funny because I think quite a few of you told me that I wasn't gonna like this one. I should have listened to you. And it wasn't that this was a bad book. And this one, we're just following this family who goes to Cape Cod every summer. So there's not much of a plot. Like, that's all it is. We're just following this family and we're in the POV of the mom. So I think it's because I just can't relate to that is where the disconnect came for me. It was a solid read. It just wasn't super memorable for me. And I went into this thinking like this is gonna be the summer read for me, like an Ellen Hilderbrand book. And that just wasn't the case.
Next book I just recently talked about as well, because it was a recent read of mine, but it is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I don't know what happened here. Truly, I don't know what happened, because you guys know how often we talk about Miss Adrienne Young. We have loved all of her books so far until this one. I wouldn't in a million years think this was an Adrienne Young book if her name wasn't on the cover. And I truly mean that. It just didn't feel like her writing style at all. Something about the storyline was just very lackluster in my opinion. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the plot. I read this book last month and I still don't think I could give you like a real good summary of it just because I wasn't invested in it whatsoever. I remember being able to predict almost everything that happened. The one thing I do remember was absolutely hating the end. But the reason I wish I never read it is because up to this point, I have absolutely adored everything that she's written. And I've always said I've loved everything that she writes. Now I'm always gonna have to say, except this one, which sucks.
Another one I have is The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. This one sounds very good because we're following a girl named Chrissy and she killed a boy when she was 8. So now 20 years later, we're following her. She's kind of under a changed name and she's trying to forget about the person that she was when she was younger. Sounds very good. It just wasn't what I wanted. I don't know. I did like that we kept going back and forth to when she was a child to when she's like grown up, but I just couldn't connect. I don't know what the deal was. Her childhood was really heartbreaking and hard to read about, so maybe that's where I just like I didn't want to be reading that at the time. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what happened or how it ended. Again, it was one of those books where it was like as soon as I was done, don't recall anything that happened.
The last one I have today is Expiration Dates by Rebecca Searle. And honestly, I think amongst all of these books, this is my least hated one. This is another story where I absolutely loved the premise, didn't love the execution of it. I know we've been talking about this one recently, but basically there's this girl who anytime she starts a new relationship with someone, she receives a piece of paper with an expiration date on it, signifying that's when their relationship will end. So when she meets a guy and he doesn't come with an expiration date, we are just trying to figure out what makes him different. I love that concept. I feel like we could have done so much with that. To me, it felt like one of those Hallmark movies where you know what's gonna happen. It's so painfully obvious, but you keep watching till the end anyway. I didn't enjoy this one specifically, but I have enjoyed the other books I've read by this author. So this one, it's like I didn't need this one.
I enjoyed that one. So my last one is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. This was one of our Literal Besties Book Club books. I just didn't like this one at all, and that's all there is to it. And this one we're following 4 sisters, and one of their other sisters passed away, so we're just following all of them. They all have these different things going on in their lives, and it just kept dragging on and on. This felt like the longest book ever. It put me in a horrible reading slump. And I just had really high expectations for this one. And it didn't deliver for me. But I know a few of you liked it in Literal Besties Book Club, so that's good. This just wasn't my cup of tea, and that's alright.
I liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
That's good.
I think you don't like books that are literary fiction when you go into them not knowing it's literary fiction.
Yeah.
It like ruins your experience.
Same thing with The Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. This was another recent Literal Besties Book Club book. This is one of those where the siblings have to do these certain tasks in order to get their inheritance. Anytime that plot comes up, I'm automatically connecting it to the inheritance games, and this just was like the literary fiction type of version of that, I would say. Nothing really happens. Like, I thought the tasks they were gonna have were gonna be crazy and like super entertaining, but it was just like kind of petty things really, which is fine. I do like family drama, so I did think I was gonna like it a lot more than I actually did. Another one just kind of dragged on. I have so many books that I need to get better about DNFing books because there's so many to get to. There's so little time.
Life's too short to read books you're not enjoying.
Exactly. We got so many to get to. We got to get better about DNFing.
Yeah, that was a lot of hating on books. I'd like it to be known we do love reading and love books. Today was just a pretty negative video. You know, sometimes you read a book you don't love.
Sometimes we just got to get it off our chest, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Again, we're all besties here. It doesn't matter. This is part of what makes reading fun, though, because if every single book was a banger,
What's the point?
right, there's no fun in, like, finding the one that really just hits. I don't know. You get it, what I'm saying.
Again, no hate to the authors or publishers or anything like that. And if any of these are some of your favorite books, I absolutely love that for you. These just didn't hit with us. Sometimes that happens. Let us know in the comments some of the books you wish you never read.
And if you agree or if you disagree with any of these.
If you haven't seen part 1 to this video, we will link it below. Make sure to go watch that. Also, make sure to join our Literal Besties book club if you haven't. We do sometimes read good books. This month, we are reading Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. It's free to join. I'll leave that link in the description as well. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Sorry we were so negative. Next video will be a lot more positive. All that being said, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next time. And I think the main character kept referring to, like, the kidnapper's breath smelling like boiled carrots or something, but, like, it was said so often that I don't know. That's just something that stuck out to me about this book. I can't do it.
Hallmark movies are good when you just have them on in the background. You know what's gonna happen.
I don't want them on at all.
That's crazy.
No.
They're always so pretty, though.
Put on a Christmas, like any other Christmas movie, and it's fine.
The budget for, you know, Christmas things, though, is crazy every time. I love it.
I think a goal for next year, too, this has nothing to do with the video, I want to start just giving whole star ratings. You're either a 3 or a 4. I'm like 3.75.
Yeah.
I almost loved it.
Yeah.
No, it's like you get whole star ratings, like Goodreads. You're a 3 or a 4.
Dang.
If you're not a 3, you're a 2.
Because I feel like 3.5 a lot.
See, well, what is it? You loved it or you liked it?
Yeah.
That's what I want to start getting into.
That's a tough one.